So we're here today to ask attorney Sully Bryan from Wilner some questions. My name is Ivan Gonzalez. I'm the program coordinator for Youth to Leaders Education Foundation. And we also have another colleague in this virtual web call. I'm going to let her present herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Reyes. I'm also a program coordinator for Youth to Leaders Education Foundation.
And then we'll let the attorney Sully Bryan present herself too.
Hi, I'm Sully Bryan. I'm the attorney from Wilner and O'Reilly.
So my colleague Jasmine, she's going to be asking the questions. We have a total of 6 questions that were given to us by individuals that fill out the survey. And she will ask the question in English and then in Spanish. And after she's done reading it off in Spanish, Sully Bryan will respond in English and then in Spanish. So let's get started.
Okay.
Jasmine?
So question number 1, would the pandemic EBT funds dispersed this month count as a public charge or an inadmissibility? ¿Los fondos pandémicos EBT contarían como un cargo público o inadmisibilidad?
This is a really good question, and a lot of people are asking this. So the government has come out and said that they are going to take, normally the EBT will count against you as a public charge, but they will take the pandemic into consideration and any help or assistance that's been used during this time. They have said, though, if this is the case, that they will require that you submit evidence showing that the funds were needed during the pandemic. So para responder, esta es una excelente pregunta. Muchas personas están preguntando. Entonces, normalmente recibir asistencia sí puede ser contado contra las personas sobre la carga pública cuando están aplicando para la residencia. El gobierno ha salido y ha dicho que ellos van a tomar en cuenta que ha sucedido todo esto, lo de la pandemia, y las personas van a tener que presentar evidencia durante la aplicación enseñando que ellos necesitaban esta asistencia y no lo contarán contra ellos.
Thank you, Sully. So question number 2, is the process for naturalization harder now than it was before? What is the cost to naturalize? ¿Es el proceso de ser ciudadano por naturalización más difícil ahora que antes? ¿Cuál es el costo asociado con esto?
Es una excelente pregunta. Yo no pienso, comencé en español, so sorry. No pienso que es más difícil necesariamente. Las leyes no han cambiado. Lo que sí es que los oficiales están enforzando las leyes y están investigando los casos más. Entonces, si las personas tienen actos criminales en su expediente, es bien importante ir con un abogado y de verdad entender la ley para ver si alguien califica. Entonces, no debe de ser algo que para que alguien aplique para la ciudadanía, pero sí tienen que tener cuidado, ¿ok? Entonces, el costo de la aplicación puede costar $725, esto es lo que cobra el gobierno, pero también hay oportunidad de someter una aplicación para que la aplicación sea gratis, y estos son para personas que califican por bajos ingresos. Entonces, también es bueno ver si alguien califica antes que digan, no voy a aplicar porque cuesta mucho. So this is a great question to answer. I don't think that the application to become a citizen is necessarily more difficult now versus before. I do think that the immigration officers are enforcing the law, and they are investigating and seeing those criminal records. And so I do believe that people shouldn't be discouraged, but what they should do is talk to an attorney so that they can look over their case and make sure that they can go forward with the naturalization application. And the cost is $725 for the government fees. There is, however, an application that can be submitted so that the government waives those fees if you're below the poverty guideline. So the cost shouldn't discourage you. The law shouldn't discourage you. You should be aware and figure out if you qualify.
Question number 3. If my DACA expires early next year, should I renew considering the possibility of the program's termination? Si mi DACA se expira a los principios del próximo año, ¿debo de renovar teniendo en cuenta la posibilidad de la terminación del programa?
So this is a great question. As most people know, the U.S. Supreme Court is currently, we're waiting for a decision from them on the future of DACA. And this is a difficult one to answer because I think it's a personal question and it's a judgment call, right? So the strategy is if your DACA is going to expire like in the next 6 months, right, you should try to apply to renew it now. That is what our strategy is. Given that the law can change, if it's going to expire, then go ahead and renew it. But when you do that, that's really a personal choice there. It's hard to tell you, right? Because what if we win and we can move forward, then you spent this money. But what if we don't? Then what will happen is that they'll let the DACA status continue until it expires, and then after that, it won't continue anymore. So it's up to the person of when they want to do it. Entonces, para contestar la pregunta, es difícil contestar la pregunta porque este es algo personal, ¿verdad? Entonces, sabemos que la Corte Suprema de los Estados Unidos va a tomar decisión sobre el futuro de DACA y puede que DACA termine, y si termina, entonces ellos van a tomar DACA como hasta que se expire el estatus de DACA y ya no se va a poder renovar. Entonces, la estrategia debe de ser, si se va a vencer su DACA en los próximos 6 meses, deben de tratar de renovarlo ya. Okay.
Thank you. Next question. Can you explain the difference of adjustment of status through 245A and 245I? ¿Puede explicar la diferencia de ajuste de estatus migratorio a través de 245A y 245I?
Esta es una buena pregunta. Entonces, la 245A es una ley de inmigración que dice que las personas que han sido inspectados por un oficial de inmigración, admitidos o les han dado permiso de entrar a los Estados Unidos, pueden aplicar para la residencia dentro de los Estados Unidos. La 245I es una ley que se pasó, entonces la amnistía, muchas personas saben esto, y la amnistía es decir, ok, yo tengo una petición, o la petición es por medio del trabajo o un familiar, pero esta petición fue antes de abril del 2001. Entonces, si tengo esta petición, es como que si un oficial me dejó entrar a los Estados Unidos, me están dando esta entrada legal para que yo pueda aplicar para la residencia. Entonces, to answer that question, the 245A means that I can apply, that a person can apply for their adjustment of status, their green card application, if they have been inspected, admitted, or paroled into the U.S. Usually, to give an example, this is somebody that entered with a visa, and that an immigration officer has allowed them to enter into the U.S. So if they have done this procedurally, that means then they can file for that green card application here in the U.S. The 245I is a law. It's this law that was passed that said, look, if you have a petition that was filed prior to April 2001, that you can then qualify to file the adjustment of status application here in the U.S. And it's as if you have that legal entry. Okay.
Thank you. The following question. If a child between the ages of 18 and 21 petitions through a parent with a 245A, is the process still pending if the individual is now over 24? Will the parent's process be affected if the child marries? Si un hijo entre las edades de 18 y 21 peticiona a través de un padre con un 245A, ¿el proceso todavía está pendiente si la persona tiene más de 24 años de edad? ¿Se verá afectado el proceso de los padres si el hijo se casa?
Okay. So let me try to understand the question. Is the question that the person that's filing the petition is the child?
Yeah. So if the child is petitioning through the parent,
No, you mean I'm sorry to interrupt. The child is petitioning the parent?
Well,
Yes, the child is petitioning for the parent.
Yeah, okay, great. So I'm going to just clarify a couple of things. And the reason this was a little confusing is because they mentioned the child's between 18 and 21. So only a U.S. citizen child that is 21 and over can petition a parent. So they have to be 21. And it doesn't matter if you file this application on the day of their birthday, but they have to be 21 years old, okay? And the child's status, whether they're single or married, doesn't matter for this petition to continue to move forward. So if the child is 30 and they're married and they have 5 kids, they can still petition their parents, okay? And so, oh, sorry, en español. Entonces, la pregunta es si un hijo puede darle una petición a su padre, si esto cambia o le afecta que el hijo se case. Entonces, primero, para solo tener algo claro, un hijo ciudadano mayor de 21 años puede darle una petición a un padre. Tiene que ser mayor de 21 años, ¿ok? Y no importa si el hijo está casado, tiene hijos, no importa si el hijo tiene 21 años, 30, 50, este hijo puede someter esta petición para el padre.
Thank you. And then final question, what will happen to asylum seekers that were waiting for their applications to be processed? How would Trump's new guidelines toward the border place these individuals? ¿Qué pasaría con las solicitantes de asilo que están esperando a que se tramiten sus solicitudes? ¿Cómo colocarían estas personas las nuevas directivas del Trump hacia la frontera?
Esto es una pregunta interesante porque sí sabemos que las fronteras están cerradas, los consulados están cerrados, todo esto, pero sin embargo, las personas que vienen y dicen, ok, yo quiero asilo, este es otro tipo de aplicación, no es alguien que viene de visita para pasear, pero es alguien que dice, yo necesito ayuda. Entonces, el gobierno todavía está procesando esto, pero lo sigue procesando de manera de que, ok, le vamos a dar a alguien turno y tienen que esperar afuera del país. Sí siguen haciendo esto. De allí no sé cómo en el futuro esto afecte a los casos de asilo, pero siempre es importante estar consciente de lo que está pasando en la frontera y cómo esto cambia. Entonces, si alguien quiere aplicar para asilo, tienen un familiar que quiere venir a aplicar para asilo, tengan esta información lo más vigente para estar seguros que lo pueden hacer. So, oh yes, the asylum application. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Okay, so this is an interesting question. We know that the borders are closed. We know that the consulates are closed. We know the borders are closed for non-essential travel, right? So asylum applicants don't fall under this category. However, they do continue to process these asylum applications. These people coming to the border by giving them a number and saying, okay, we're going to take your turn. And in the meantime, you're going to wait outside. They are still doing this. So it is very much affecting asylum applications. However, there's no way of knowing how that's going to continue into the future. And we'll just have to take it, I think, a week at a time and see how these changes continue to happen, and just make sure that if you have a family member that wants to apply for asylum or they're going through this process, to keep up with what's going on.
Nice. Thank you so much for answering the questions from our community. And this does conclude our questions and answers with Immigration Attorney Sully Bryan. Thank you so much for your time. We're looking to host another one. We don't know when. We're looking for probably the month of June, but look out on our website and our social media platforms for the survey where you can ask your questions. We thank you so much for your time, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Take care, everyone.